Okay. Now, take our contract into Darkside. Marco is a friend who'll get you and your crew on a freighter headed to Darkside. Once you're there, you can investigate Utsubo and find a weakness. Right, confirm the vector. Who do I trust the most? Bliss would be my answer. Travel to contract. Terrible yawns. I hate them. Your freighter hangs over the ragged shipyard as the rig idles in the dock. Your eyes trace the fuel lines snaking up to its underside where they disappear into the dark. A chirp from the pilot's console breaks the silence. Marco's signal. This is it, sleeper. Seraphim settles back from the controls of the rig. He looks over his shoulder at you. You better get going. Don't get too bored now. I'll do my best, Seraphim smirks. Hope there's something to drink in the yacht. You glide towards the back of the cockpit. Seraphim clears his throat. Just don't do anything reckless, alright? As you float down the corridor towards the airlock, Marco comes to meet you, his usual gear swapped out for a plain set of overalls that you imagine are borrowed from the freighter crew. You ready to go, sleeper? The crew were replacing. You ready to go, sleeper? The crew we're replacing are already in the yard, so the sooner we get on board, the better. He gives you a look. How are you feeling? Confident. He smiles. It's what I like to hear. No reason not to be. He pats you on the shoulder as you cross into the airlock. The airlock cycles and Marco leads you into the yard, though a series of shadowy passages that connect the two docking bridges. Now's the time, sleeper, Marco says as you work your way through the yard. Any questions, any concerns, speak up now. Will you have to pass any checks? Marco shrugs. This freighter is a known ship to Utsubo. It makes this route on a regular basis. They have no reason to suspect it. You reach a vertical tunnel and start ascending. At the docks, we'll probably have to give some enforcers a nod and a smile, but that's it. You come out at the entrance to the other docking tunnel, the freighter filling the viewing window, so all you can see are the plates of its scratched hull. Sleeper! Bliss is waiting by the docking bridge. How come you aren't wearing one of these? They gesture to the loose and plain crew overalls they're wearing. I'll change on board. Bliss gives you a sideways look. You better. I'm not going to be the only one wearing one of these things. Sorry to interrupt, but we need to go. Marco gestures to the docking bridge. You hit the button to open the doors and glide towards the freighter's airlock. As you do, the fear settles in. You're going back to Darkside. Darkside sprawls out across the starscape, its surface a vast and random accumulation of structures, lights, and signs. You have watched it as the freighter cut across the belt, as it grew, cycle by cycle, like a stain across the cockpit glass. Watching it approach, the fragmented memories of your time there pass through your mind, each one dissolving the moment you try to focus on it. Only the sensations remain. Despair, claustrophobia, fear, all somehow strengthened by their disconnected nature. It's as if, by not being attached to specific memories, they can run free through your mind, as alive as they were in the first moment of feeling. Instruction received. Appreciated. Marco is in the pilot's seat, talking to the port authority. Incoming to strut 2-3. He turns back to you, clicking off the outgoing comms channel. First step complete. We've got docking approval as expected. He raises his eyebrows, noticing something in your face. Keep it together, alright? I've got this. I'm fine. Good. He turns back to the controls. Sleeper? Bliss gets your attention from across the cockpit. I'm right here, okay? I know this place is complicated for you. They smile warmly, but I've got your back. Anyone tries to mess with you? They shrug in an exaggerated way. I can't be held responsible for what I'll do to them. There's a hollow rumble through the body of the freighter as Marco brings it into the dock. The noise of this draftier, more industrial ship differ to those of your rig. You haven't quite got used to them yet. A squawk of noise over the comm sends Marco scrabbling at the controls to submit the docking code he was sent just moments before. There is an agonizing wait, and then a chirp as the code is accepted. The freighter is docked. Alright, let me go out first. Talk to the dockers, start the unloading. He unclips from his seat. Then you're good to go. I want to come, though. Marco raises an eyebrow. He seems to be considering something. I want to be as delicate about this as possible, he glances away. But you are a sleeper. I don't think we should bring attention to that. Alright, I get it. Marco nods. Good, hold fast. And he glides out of the cockpit without waiting for a response. You hold your nerve, looking out at the flickering lights and distant traffic. The airlock clunks open and closed again. Time drags on. You turn your attention to the job ahead. Seeing it stretched out in front of you, from Darkside, seems impossibly vast. Too vast to find a specific person, but just to find a type of person. Someone unhappy with Utsubo's gains, ready to risk their life to change this place, and pushed to a point of desperation or anger. That might be a lot more doable. But first you must understand Utsubo, see how they run this place, where they meet, what they talk about. Find where Utsubo is weakest, and where they can be broken. And think about the pressure that might be applied, not just by you, but by all of Darkside. How much do you trust Marco, Sleeper? Bliss blurts out the question almost unconsciously. Sorry, do we know him that well? Seraphim does. Bliss nods. I hope Seraphim's trust is well founded then. They sigh and look out at the station. The airlock cycles once more, and moments later, Marco is in the cockpit, sweat beading on his brow. It takes a moment, his mood uncharacteristically flustered. Well, I bent the truth a little back there, but I think we're good. He runs a hand over his hair, slicking it back into place. Luckily, I've had a lot of practice lying to dock workers. He gives you a wink. They'll begin unloading later this cycle, and they won't be in a rush. He smiles. We have our time, as promised. But the sudden interjection evaporates any relief you are feeling. Utsubo are watching these docks. That I know for sure. For now, we are just another freighter, but all our coming and going, that could be a problem. He turns to you. We can try to disable their monitoring, or just get the job done before it becomes an issue. I'll take a look. Marco nods. I'm sure you will. Either way, we need to get on with that we are doing. Marco folds his arms. Utsubo are everywhere, but we need to understand them, to know what is happening inside their organization. We slip under their skin and find out how they work. Marco looks to you. This is what I recommend. But now, Sleeper, it is your turn to lead. He folds his arms. Tell us where to begin. You feel the attention, the pressure shift to you. Time to find some allies. Time to find Utsubo's weakness. Time to stop running and resist. Man, the dice are not good to start this one. Alright, Bliss, start by cutting some connections. The fastest and crudest way to disable surveillance is to cut wires until it goes offline, but which to cut? I trust Bliss's skills. Mapping the connections, it becomes more obvious which cables need to be cut and in what order. Alright, let's give this a go. Just gonna leave it. I make these 5s, they'll work pretty well. The system is complex and full of fail-safes. This is a big job. Is it even worth it? I'm not sure. You know what? I'll take those. Utsubo surveillance uses the dock's layered network, where some careful and delicate work could be disabled completely. One of the monitoring nodes goes dark, and no Utsubo tech will know why. Nicely done. Alright, what's in the wash gate? Can I use your guys' skills for anything? Alright. Marco, give it a shot for the docker debate. Fast way to get information on Utsubo would be to kick up a conversation with the dockers. Not exactly subtle, though. The dock at Washgate is under Utsubo control, making it a solid place to start when trying to infiltrate their operations. The lively debate offers a lot of details on Utsubo, also brings some unwanted attention. We're gonna leave for now. Like, with the 1 and 2, I'm not gonna chance anything on. Like, it's just not worth it, I don't think, at this point. Stress is low, supplies are high. We don't need to push unnecessarily. Now, those are some good dice. Alright. Marco, run the debate again. It's best to stir things up than let the dockers talk. Soon the details on Utsubo's operations start to come out. Yeah, you know what? Try the 2. Alright, that's fine. Bliss, cut those connections. And Bliss, can you please finish it? Alright. The system collapses with a screech of white noise. Utsubo are blind to what goes on in the Washgate docks now. Alright, now I can just have my free reign. The safest way to investigate Washgate is by listening into the dockers, but who knows if you'll get the information you need. You've narrowed your search to a docker's bar known for its Utsubo connections. Docker's Rest. I can extract a cipher with my skills pretty easily. Many of the dockers are members of Utsubo, making this bar the perfect place to score an ID cipher. Rather than steal a passkey wholesale, it might be safer to hack the personal slates of the dockers and extract enough data for a fake. Yeah, that's gonna go pretty easily, actually. Dude, oh. Section of raw ciphers extracted cleanly. This could work. Now I'm just gonna not try with the glitch dice. That could end very terribly. So the Rise, residential towers. Man, my hacking skills are being put to a lot of work in this one, that's for sure. Right, back to the freighter. End the cycle. Ooh, a 5 and a 1. Right, Marco, can I use your 5 for anything? Yes, you might be able to finish this one. The fastest and most dangerous way to get an entry cipher is to steal a physical passkey. First, you have to find Mark. The passkey is stolen smoothly. This should contain a full cipher for entry to Utsubo facilities. You leave Docker's Rest with an Utsubo passkey in hand, sure to get you inside one of their safe houses. Now, the trick is to find one. You make your way through the docks, head down in the dark passageways. Sleeper? Bliss taps you on the shoulder with a certain urgency. Marco's gone. You stop in the Darkside passageway you were drifting down, a quiet connection between 2 thoroughfares. You glance around at the loose bundles of wires and stained metal plates. It seems like a safe place to talk. He just muttered about having something to deal with and then split, just like that. Bliss sighs and shakes their head. Just went before I could say a thing. You pause for a moment, unsure how to react. What's going on? Bliss shrugs. You tell me, Sleeper. I thought Marco was solid. Bliss folds their arms. This doesn't look solid to me. It looks far from solid. You take a moment. No need to panic. Marco brought you here. He'll get you out. You look down the corridor towards a busier, wider passage where people drift by. You needed to deal with something then, well, he needed to deal with something. Doesn't mean anything, but you sure as hell wish he had given you a warning. Surveilled and now short-handed, this job is going from bad to worse. Well, we're not surveilled anymore, at least there's that. So now we just gotta go to the Rise, see if we can find where the safe house is. Right, Bliss, start tracking some enforcers. Utsubo enforcers aren't hard to spot, so some patience and effort following them will lead you to their meeting place. The enforcers all cross through one area of the rise. Their meeting place must be here somewhere. The patrol patterns of the enforcers are becoming more obvious. They're also increasingly alert. To find the Utsubo safe house and the rise, you need to monitor the network chatter between enforcers without being caught. There's a little chatter about a meet, which narrows down the safe house location. I mean, with the 3 dice I have here, this should just finish it. Yeah, it's all going to be the same. These are all forced to be positives because they're the only dice I have here now. You've heard the rise is a hub for Utsubo operations and enforcers. You need to find where they meet. And with this one, I think we will do just that. You have isolated the Utsubo safe house location, but now you'll need to gain entry, which is not an issue whatsoever. Decaying passcode, we erase at the end of the contract. A simple door leads down to what you suspect is an Utsubo safe house. All you need is a passkey ciphered enter. We'll do exactly that. Use the passkey and the bolt trunks open. Time to go inside. The unmarked door slides open as you use the cipher. Beyond it, a dark tunnel descends, its roof a mess of bundled tubes and wires. Entering, you see a flickering light as its far end, hear the soft echo of raised voices. You hear Bliss taking a deep breath behind you. You stay quiet, we listen in, that's all. You aren't sure if they're talking to you or not. You drift down the tunnel, keeping your limbs clear of the sides, your passage through the air silent and gentle. You focus on the flickering light, the sound of the voices growing ever louder. As you descend through the tunnel, you notice a small, dark doorway leading off where the tunnel reaches the bottom. You slow yourself gently. Fingertips graze the metal walls on either side. Glancing through, you see the doorway leads out onto a framework balcony, high on the wall of some dark room. You glance down to the bottom of the tunnel, hear the voices rising in volume. Here, Bliss nods to the balcony. We say hi, stay in the dark. You come out onto the balcony, overlooking a dark, cavernous room, lit in patches, with a bright area at the far end. It's filled with people, Utsubo enforcers and members, all facing forward, their floating bodies silhouetted by the pool of bright light ahead. In that bright pool, 2 figures are arguing. You come to the edge of the balcony, a feeling of safety granted to you by both your elevation and the cover of darkness. Below, the entire room has its attention focused on the 2 figures in the pool of light, the watching audience keeping to the dark perimeter, as if they were observing a piece of theater. You feel Bliss arrive beside you, their attention like yours on the scene below. These are my territories. We need to withdraw. One figure, their features hard to define in the pool of light, gestures at the other. There is no discussion to be had. The other figure laughs. You're pathetic, Orin. The Watchgate is a joke like you. He turns to the crowd and you see dark hair, dark eyes, and a smile like a slit. The dark-haired figure addresses the gathered crowd. Orin makes nothing from the Watchgate. All that freight and lets it slip by while he soaks up bribes. The jeering echoes around the crowd. He's stealing from all of you. Daichi, you piece of shit, Orin spits, a glinting orb zipping past the other man. You have no respect. A few of the crowd enter the light, gathering behind one figure or the other. Barely more than an enforcer, and already dictating terms. If you had any idea what happening in the passages, you'd know we've been facing sabotage and resistance across the Watchgate. Orin shakes his head. Utsubo's control is under question. Sabotage and resistance. You quietly log the remark in your mind. Those are the people you have to find. Daichi smirks in response. I still know how it is in the passages, but you are getting soft, Orin. He glances around. You can't deal with some angry shop owners. He makes a show of his mocking laugh. It's easy to mock, but they're organized, and I'm close to rooting out their meeting places. Orin folds his arms. You wouldn't know where to start looking. If you say so, old man. In the end, it's only a matter of time before someone ambitious notices how weak you have become. Daichi draws a finger across his throat with a grin. The room erupts in shouts. Both sides call out insults, while others from the crowd air their own problems. Some drifting into the light to heckle Daichi and Orin directly. Silence! A voice cuts through the room, raised above all others. The noise drops. You lean forward to get a better view. A woman holds her muscled arms in the air, a wide, strong posture of control, not surrender. You hear a sharp intake of breath from Bliss beside you, but you don't dare look away for more than a moment. Both of you, she shakes her head, her long braids sneaking through the air as she does. Enough. This is not how we do things. The chaos is replaced by a disgruntled muttering. No one voice willing to rise above the murmur. Daichi floats to one side, arms coolly folded, while Orin fumes opposite him, his hands in tight fists. So, this is how the Starward Ward conducts its business? She shoots hard looks around the room. Animals fighting over scraps. Ankita, Orin eyes Daichi as he speaks. Daichi is the one disrespecting the leadership and the trust they have placed in. I said enough. Your weakness does not impress me, Orin. She turns to Daichi. And neither does your petulance, Daichi. What are you calling weak, Ankita? Orin narrows his eyes. You may be Laine's favorite, but I have something that will change all that. He looks out over the heads of the crowd. Bring him. A figure is dragged into the circle of light, their head low, a greasy tangle of dark hair drifting over their face. They lift a hand and slick it back out of their eyes. Marco! Bliss hisses from beside you, as Marco's pale face catches the light, gleaming with sweat. This one here has a very interesting story to share with us all. Orin gestures to the gathered crowd. I'm sure you're all aware of the bounty Laine has put on the head of a very valuable escaped sleeper and their accomplices. Well, Marco here tells me, he smiles at Marco, whose eyes are fixed forward, squinting into the light, that the same sleeper is, right now, on a freighter moored in the Washgate docks. A ripple runs through the gathered crowd, a reflection of the value of this information. You wonder how much cry was on your and Seraphin's heads. You look into Marco's eyes, hoping to see any indication of what this might be. A desperate bid to save himself? Or a betrayal of everything you agreed upon? His set stare reveals nothing. Now, Laine himself will return in 3 cycles. You can imagine how pleased he'll be when I present the sleeper to him. Ankita stares at Orin. You had no business keeping this from me. She folds her arm, and I will be the one to bring the sleeper in. Not so fast, Ankita. Orin turns to the gathered crowd. But first you to bring me the sleeper will give him a share of Washgate. He shoots a look across the circle of light. That includes you, Daichi. The crowd erupts into shouts and movement. The assembled Utsubo members suddenly up and moving towards the doors. You push yourself into the corner of the balcony, tucking yourself into the shadows as you hear the tunnel filling with voices. There are shouts and scuffles, and you fear that any moment you will be discovered. But as time passes, the noise subsides. You only open your eyes when the sound disappears altogether. The Utsubo members on their way to your freighter, the freighter that is supposed to take you off Darkside. You feel the panic rising. You're trapped here once more. I can't, Bliss whispers beside you. I don't. They meet your eye. We need to go. Now. You ascend into the tunnel, silent, slow. Your eyes are on the entrance, hoping that no Utsubo member returns or enters. And then you are back out in the main passageway, blinking in the light of the fluorescent panels and gliding away from the entrance, lost in a daze. Somewhere on the rise, you eventually stop. Not sure where you might be going, but you need to get away from what you just witnessed. You can't go back to the freighter. That much is clear. which means no supplies, no place to sleep. Then there's Marco. Was this always part of his plan, or is this just him in survival mode? Your mind fills with questions and worries. The path ahead unclear. I know her, Sleeper. Bliss seems out of breath, bracing himself against the wall of the passageway. Ankita, you see a tear glittering, drifting from their eye. We came to the belt together. Who is she? Ankita, she was a mercenary, but she left that behind. Bliss stops, wiping their face with both hands. Joining Utsubo? I don't understand. She would never. They trail off. I'm sorry. They sigh. This isn't right, Sleeper. Something's going on. Maybe I can find her, talk to her. Bliss shakes their head. She has to have a reason. There must be more to this. We need to stay away from her. Bliss meets your eye in desperation. I need to understand, Sleeper. Trust me. They stuff their hands into their pockets. There is more to what Ankita is doing here. Bliss goes quiet, lost in thought. It's clear as you see them turning the problem around in their mind that their past with Ankita is affecting their judgment. Go and talk to her? The woman looked homicidal. But she has Marco. You still don't know what to do about that. Can you really leave this place without him? How would Seraphine react? He actually has been caught by Utsubo. Can you forgive him for giving in to the pressure? You're struggling to be angry at him. Perhaps because you have been where he is now, under Utsubo's control. What would you have done to escape? Who would you have given up? We need to find somewhere to rest, Sleeper. Bliss is dry-eyed and determined now. Decision made in their mind. We should stay here, in the rise, far away from the port. We'll need supplies, and more than that, we'll need a way out. They turn away and look down the passageway. I'll find an empty unit for us, and don't go anywhere. You take a moment trying to find a focus. Maybe if you could find those resisting Utsubo, they could help you. Though you wonder if they ever existed at all, given that Marco was the one who had reported their existence to you and Seraphine. Was this whole thing a ploy to collect the bounty, to bring you to Darkside? If you search out Marco, perhaps he can answer you, for better or worse. Then you recall Orin's words. Sabotage and resistance. If that was an honest plea, then there is some truth in what Marco said. Utsubo is being resisted. You try to gather yourself. You have to bounce back to come up fighting. Otherwise, this place will drown you in its darkness. Supplies empty. Oh boy, we fucked. I mean, the one dice isn't gonna do anything, so. End cycle. God, those dice are shit. You wake in the cold of the abandoned unit to an unsettling quiet. The air cyclers whine, the heat diffusers hum. Nothing around you breathes. You are alone. You slowly raise yourself, unclip the straps from the bunk, and allow yourself to drift up into the air. Silence. And then, in that silence, you hear something. A scrape or scruff. It draws your eye to the unit's doorway, where a shape is settled in the dark. I knew you couldn't have gone far. Ankita shifts to fill the doorway. I mean, get her. You kick off hard, dropping your shoulder and aiming for Ankita. She raises an arm to deflect your hit. As you slam into her, Ankita reels back, then spins, wrapping you with both arms. Use your momentum to whip you around and bundle you back into the unit. Just calm yourself. Ankita holds up both hands. Let's not cause too much damage. She raises an eyebrow. May I come in? She drifts through the doorway. Don't need any extra attention right now. You can't give me to Laine. Look, just shut up and listen. Ankita drops her voice. I'm risking everything by coming up here, she hisses. so don't make it any harder than it is. What you need to know is this. I am on your side. I want Darkside free, just like you. And I hate Laine just as much as you do. Ankita sighs. I just have different methods, that's all. She raised an eyebrow. You might say better methods, given how well your visit has gone. And why should I trust you? I am the only person who can get you off Darkside, so you better listen closely, Ankita hisses. It's taken me more cycles than you would believe to get this deep into Utsubo. Not about to give it up for one escapee. But then, Laine doesn't usually run all across the belt chasing a lone escapee, even a sleeper. Ankita drifts a little closer, overshadowing you. So, you tell me now, what does Laine want with you? Why are you important to him? I don't remember. Ankita raises an eyebrow. Please tell me you are joking. What you don't understand, Sleeper, is I've been trying to keep you safe since I saw you arrive. But your friend hasn't made it easy. Getting himself caught by Utsubo was bad enough. Then blabbing about you being here, she sighs. I only protect you from so much. He's not my where's Marco? I don't run the gang. He's Oren's. I can't risk starting an internal war. Either way, you're lucky you aren't in the same position. You have me to thank for that. So, I'll ask again. Ankita meets your eye. Why is Laine pursuing you? I'm gonna say that I see Laine in your mind. Ankita looks away in thought as you explain. She waits for you to finish. None of it makes any sense. But there's no way I'm letting Laine get his prize. Not until we understand more. She gives you a hard look. I can get you out, but I need a couple of cycles. I need you to do something for me. You need to take this with you, off station. She produces a thumbnail drive and holds it up. This is everything I've managed to scrape from within Utsubo. The key to challenging Laine is on here. I know it. Take it to Oliveira. It's tucked away in a crater in the shoals. That massive debris field beyond the hollow. She meets your eye. You give it to Carmen. No one else. Ankita presses the drive into your palm and closes your hand around it. No one but Carmen. You understand? Laine's rise has been cruel. He has spilled too much blood. When I'm ready, I'll make him pay for that. But Carmen needs to analyze what I've got on him to find the right place and moment to strike. Ankita meets your eye. I knew a sleeper once, and I should have trusted them. You let go of your hand. So now, I'm trusting you. I'll get you out, and you deliver. That's the deal. Ankita cracks her knuckles. Then together we can... Ankita. You hear Bliss's voice, faint but clear from behind Ankita. You see the confusion on Ankita's face as she turns. Bliss? She trails off, her aggression dissolving in front of you. What the hell do you think you're doing? You see a rare flash of anger in Bliss's face over Ankita's shoulder. Utsubo? Really? This is where you fled to? The welcoming arms of the Belt's cruelest gang? Bliss, Ankita stumbles over her words. And now what? You deliver the sleeper to Laine? Bliss stares her down. You disgust me. Bliss, it's not like that. I'm here to help the sleeper, to help you both. She sighs. What the hell are you talking about? Bliss's anger is softened a little by their confusion. I infiltrated Utsubo. I'm working to get the sleeper out of Darkside to free this place. Infiltrated? Bliss laughs. That's it. You cast yourself some sort of spy? They shake their head. After you left, this is where I find you? Are you trying to get yourself killed? Ankita looks down, silent. Her panic at seeing Bliss now turning into a cold, hard anger. Don't lecture me. I'm trying to do something worthwhile. She meets Bliss's eyes with a fire. You have no idea what I have had to do. Bliss looks away. I don't want to know. They shake their head. I want to know a thing. Silence falls in the room, the tension growing. Ankita turns to you. I have to go, Sleeper. She glances between the two of you. I've already taken a big risk coming here. They cannot find me. 2 cycles. Be ready to leave. She backs out of the unit. When Lane comes back, you go out. Neither of us want him to win here. And a piece of advice. Forget Marco. Keep your head down and wait for me. She raises a finger. Need supplies? Steal them in Flicker Row. Otherwise, keep to yourself. Ankita gives you a hard look and slips out of the unit. Alright, what can we even do here? So, Flicker Row, we need to do this, try and get supplies. We're only here for 2 days. It would probably be better for me to try and just get into where Marco's hiding. Being captured, I guess, is the correct word. He's not exactly hiding. Alright, let's give her a shot. Tucked deep in some communication logs are mentions of someone matching Marco's description. Is this him? Alright, let's try for some rerolls. I'll take these. These are just 3 successes. Let's give it another shot. The network starts to open up. It's hard to know what to look for amongst all the data. The Rise is in the last place you saw Marco. To find him, this is the place to look. After his betrayal, you may not want to try. I'll see if I can find him. Actually, Bliss might be able to finish this off. I just need, like, a neutral outcome here, and I think fixes this problem. Utsubo Comms Network has to have some record or mention of Marco. If you can find it, you can find where they have taken him. Alright, Bliss, do you finish this off for us? Yeah, we do. Marco seems to have been moved to a new location. Though you have no specific memory of it, there is something unpleasantly familiar about the place you have found yourself in. Among the many, many stacked units of the Rise, framed by scaffolding and stretching away from Darkside's reflectors in a way that is only possible in 0G, you have found yourself in a cold corner. Here, a locked door is marked with Utsubo's sigil, a single eel curled back on itself, its mouth around its own tail. This kind of door behind which Utsubo keeps its secrets, its assets. Assets like you and Seraphim were, like Marco is now. It's a door you have been watching, which is why you know where it should be, an enforcer lazily beside it, and why you know you only have moments before they come back. Break the lock. You slip a shipbreaker's chisel from your belt pack and jam it into the lock, glancing over your shoulder as you try to force the mechanism. The tool bends and flexes. You force it sideways and hear a crack as the bolt shears off inside the mechanism. You wrench the door open. You're in. A dim corridor stretches out ahead of you, lined with doors on either side. Memory hits you almost immediately. Long cycles between jobs in a cell like this, awaiting Lane's arrival. Kept safe. A lie that you believed when you were first brought to a place like this. Most of the cells are dark, empty, but a warm glow spills from around one of the doors. You quickly approach and look in. Marco is tucked into an inset berth, a padded niche like those in any unit. His back is turned to the small window in the door. You slam the exterior lock release without thinking, Marco turning over to face a door that hisses open. Sleeper? He freezes for a moment, unsure of your intentions. He raises a hand to protect himself, to put something between you and him. You betrayed us. Marco frowns, his arm still up. I didn't have a choice, Sleeper, he frowns. Why did you come here? To accuse me? He laughs. Marco pushes himself up, out of the berth. Let's not do this here. You came for me. Let's go. He glances desperately at the door behind you. You back out into the passageway and Marco follows slowly, tentatively. Time to leave. Lucky me. Daichi floats in the corridor, a knife glinting in his hand. I came to squeeze a little more information from Warren's prize here. He points the long knife at Marco. Looks like I just got everything I need. He closes the gap, raising the knife. Now, stay still. I've heard to deliver you to Laine in one piece. And we're running. The knife cuts deep as you spin onto it, but you do not stop. You kick hard for the doorway, or the passageway, the lights washing over you in pulses as you do. Moments later, Marco and you are streaking through the passages of the rides in a haze, the pain fading, but the fear holding strong, desperate to leave this place once and for all. Well, we got Marco, we got Bliss. Let's end this cycle. You wake in the bear unit, cloaked in the endless shadow of Darkside. Outside the window, the lights of the city glitter, but you do not see them. Your attention is, instead, on the tugging thread in your mind. Laine drawing ever closer. You shiver. One more cycle, and then you're out. We can try and get some supplies from Flicker Row. Lives up to its name, has a dizzying strip of screens and stalls piled high with tech. Can you find supplies amongst all this? Give it a try. Or you find a small box of food and water behind a stall and tuck it away before anyone can see you. Taking all you can. Pushing it any further would be too great a risk. While your supplies are aboard the freighter shopping, we're all aboard the freighter. Shopping is too great a risk. Stealing is the only way to eat and stay. I mean, Marco's head was blocking the rest of that text, so... Fuck you, Marco! Alright, I believe that is all we can do. So we're just gonna pass the day and head out of here. Marco rises from his berth quietly. You haven't really spoken. The two of you kept busy by your own injuries and the constant fear that Daichi will find you. But so far, he hasn't. And if Ankita is to be trusted, this is your final cycle on Darkside. You look at Bliss, floating in the corner, staring vacantly at a spot on the wall. You did your best to explain what Ankita had told you about her involvement with Utsubo. Since then, they have been quiet, removed. You haven't dared to ask more about their history together. You trust that when Bliss is ready for you to know, they will tell you. You wait in silence, no one eager to speak. A deep fatigue has set in. In this moment, all anyone can do is wait for this excursion to be over. You see them. Marco nods at the doorway, where a silhouetted figure waits. Ankita looks at Marco, and then at you. A raised eyebrow the only acknowledgement that you went against her advice. Laine is back on Darkside. We have to go now. Ankita looks tired, angry. We won't have another chance. Come with me, quickly, quietly. She turns and pushes out into the corridor. An exhausted-looking Bliss turns to you. Let's put this place behind us. Ankita leads you across Darkside, not stopping to look back. The lights and passages flash by, but you barely notice them. All eyes are fixed ahead, on the way out. At some distant part of the station, Ankita stops at a docking bridge, a small freighter visible through the viewing windows. She slaps the door release and it slides open. She grabs your shoulder, looking into your eye. Laine's focus will be on Darkside now. He needs to stop the infighting, shore up Utsubo. If you get out now, he won't follow. Remember, Ankita hisses the instruction to you. Get that drive to Oliveira. Give it to Carmen. No one else, no matter what they say. Thank you. Ankita simply nods, and then she is gone, disappearing into the endless winding passages of Darkside. You drift gingerly down the docking tunnel, which leads into the cold and sparse cargo bay of the ship. Once you're inside, there is a hiss and the doors scissor shut. For a moment, you panic, seeing no exit, no other doors. It's a metal-walled bay. Is this a trap? The engines rumble to life. You give in to your exhaustion. If Ankita has tricked you, at least you're leaving this place behind. And then you feel it. Cold fingers reaching into your mind. You are so close. Laine's voice in your ear. You are here. A rustling, a shifting. I can't quite place you. Can't quite put my finger on you, sleeper. I know you're there. What were you doing here? Hoping to confront me, perhaps? Or something else? A hiss. I'm right here, you coward. Come and find me. I'll admit, I'm not quite ready for you, sleeper. A flicker and a spasm. So soon this will all be over. A tone begins, shrill and inescapable. Let me show you. The tone rises. Laine is in the bay of the freighter, the pull of constant acceleration, a comforting pressure against his chest. Laine looks around the bay, taking it in slowly. He inhales the stale air deeply. Laine feels power, feels pride. A sense of control over another excites him. This is his desire. Laine lifts his right hand and turns it in the air, flexing his fingers in a satisfying wave. Something flickers at the corner of your vision for a moment, and you strain to turn Laine's head. It does not turn, but you swear you see a figure there in the bay with you. It opens its mouth as if to speak, as if to scream, and then it is gone. A smile grows on Laine's face, a spreading tightness that has its own impulse. He raises one hand and uses it to grip the smallest finger of the other. A pause, and then a sudden jerk. Laine snaps the finger back against the joint. His pain is instant, as is yours. It burns your vision away. When the white-hot blindness has faded, you look out on those same metal walls. You hold the same finger in your hand. As you release it, you see the crooked shape it has been bent into. A shiver runs through you, and you reach back into your own mind to see if any trace, any fragment of Laine remains there. You put your hands on your face and push, as to push him from your head. The ship continues out on its starward arc, away from Darkside, away from Laine. But you can't help but feel that some part of him is still there, behind your eyes, concealed beneath the pain of the snapped finger. It's a long time before you are ready to discuss everything. First, there was a little journey to the yard, then disembarking from the freighter, then explaining to the waiting crew why their ship was impounded, something Marco offered 1,000 apologies for. Thankfully, the crew of the ship that brought you out to Darkside, sent by Ankita, took the others aside and settled them. With the promise of remuneration or the threat of violence, you aren't sure, but you expect they will leave together for Darkside soon. You do your best to explain things to the crew, though touching on what happened with Marco is not something you're willing to do at first. Bliss in particular seems to struggle, taking themselves away from the rest of the crew, mostly staying in their bunk. It seems the encounter with Ankita brought back memories from the time the two of them were a couple, and harder memories too, from the time after, when Ankita left. The whole time you find yourself in a daze. Your skin hurts, and your muscles tremble. You don't feel yourself. You rest for a while, and as you do, conversation echoes around you, so you find yourself able to rise. Sleeper, Marco comes to you in the quiet of the rig. Can we speak a moment? Go ahead. Marco nods. Thank you, Sleeper. He looks down. I know I almost cost you everything, but you have to understand something. When they caught me, I was looking for someone. Someone important to me. That was why I wanted to come with you. Just wanted to get a message to him and to know that he was alright. He screws up his face, each word bringing him pain. And I admit, I thought I might be able to bargain on his behalf to get us both out. Bargain using my life? Marco can't bring himself to confirm it, but you both know it to be true. All I can say is I am sorry. Look, you can use the yard when you get back to the Scatteryards. There are some components in there. Take what you want. Marco sniffs. I am going to stay here for a while. He does not meet your eye. He simply turns away and drifts down the corridor. As he does, Seraphim passes him by, receiving no acknowledgement. Seraphim gives you a questioning look as Marco leaves. What happened out there, Sleeper? He floats there, stretching his scarred arm, the protective sleeve he has been wearing since the far spindle finally removed. Utsubo are fighting amongst themselves. You explain about the meeting you witnessed, the conflict between Orin and Daichi and Ankita's intervention. Explaining Ankita takes a little more effort, but you try to remember everything that happened. You explain Ankita's insistence that she was working against Darkside, how she got you off the station. You explain that Utsubo itself is coming apart with laine absent, and that this will draw his focus away from the two of you. Seraphim waits till you have finished to respond. So, this Ankita got herself inside Utsubo. He raises an eyebrow. Just try to break their grip on Darkside? He whistles. Take some balls. You explain the drive, mention Oliveira, Carmen, and hold up the thumbnail drive, the one Ankita entrusted to you. Oliveira? He screws up his face. I've heard of it, maybe once or twice. Just assumed some big water colony. He sighs. Never met a Carmen, though. What's on that thing? Seraphim nods at the thumbnail drive. Something incriminating? Incriminating for who? Seraphim raises an eyebrow. Laine makes the law on Darkside. Gonna lock him up for his cruelty, they would have done so already. I don't get it. Seraphim raises an eyebrow. Just live this little mystery drive and that's all? He looks away, deep in thought. Is that what you want to do next? Oliveira. You never even heard of it, but it seems like the place to go if you want to help Ankita fight back against Laine. You look at the drive. As you do, you can't help but feel you're being used. Not for the first time. One thing I will say, Seraphim begins, clearly thinking out loud. If we want to head back to Darkside, take on Laine, we're gonna need to do so on our ship this time. Some crews get spoof transponders, send out a signal matching another ship. He shrugs. Not gonna get one fitted here, but that's something we need to look out for. Sure, you think. Go back to Darkside, where Laine waits. A shudder of fear runs through you, thinking of the moment he slipped into your mind on the freighter. Ever go back there, you know you'll need something to counteract him. But you also recall Overseer's presence in that moment too. His strange form holding its shape as Laine tried to override your control. Perhaps Overseer has a way for you to resist his signal. Your mind whirls with possibilities and problems. Is this really the right move to go back to the place that almost killed you twice? To take Laine on? Seraphim looks at you expectantly. What are you thinking, Sleeper? What if we leave the system? Seraphim pauses. You want to run? He looks down. I know the past cycle must have been hard, that I wasn't there, but leave Halion? I don't know if I can do that, Sleeper. Tala is here, and... As Seraphim trails off, you think of what it might feel like to leave this place behind, to throw away responsibility, to forget Laine, set out towards something new. The thought alone lifts you, freezes you in place with closed eyes and shaking hands. I know it's different for you, Sleeper, he sighs. You can find a way to make the rig fit for interstellar travel? Fraction drive, bed of hull, a crew and pilot willing to go? Who am I to stop you? He looks at you with a pained expression. It's not what I want, but you don't owe me anything. It's your future. Look, Sleeper. Seraphim places a hand on your shoulder. We aren't done yet. Either way, we need to prepare. We need work, we need a crew. Seraphim starts counting off his fingers. And we need you strong. Speaking of, Seraphim takes out a box of components. Get myself busy these past cycles, working in the fabricator bays and the Scatteryards. Think you could use some spares. So, first, Seraphim takes a calming breath. We rest. Well, we can scavenge some supplies from Marco's yard. The darkness flows around you, and you know what comes next. Sleeper. The multiple image of Overseer assembles itself in front of you. We must intervene in your current course. I don't like it when you do that. Unfortunately, we must disregard your preferences to ensure your safety. The three partial heads regard you with concern. The opening of your systems has breached a new paradigm. You are dangerously exposed. The voice is somehow both soundless and shrill. As we are sharing your hardware, that means we too are fatally exposed. The individual agent you encounter, you were almost completely erased by their attempts to seize control. Overseer's three heads nod eagerly in agreement. It's Laine. We have knowledge of this name from your memory banks. There is much of interest to us recorded there, though often partially and inconsistently. Overseer whirs unsettlingly, but yes, we can confirm Laine's role in this vulnerability. It is our understanding that the assumption of inevitability is incorrect. Overseer glows with bright veins of data, but in this state we cannot operate with full functionality. If we were to be recompiled in our correct configuration, we believe we would be able to calculate a new path. Our aim would be to close the vulnerabilities and reinforce your systems against future intrusion. This would ensure our safety within your system. Three sets of eyes lock onto you. Would this also please you? You can stop it? Correct. Overseer stutters like a glitched animation. Our expertise was in total system maintenance and security. Beyond our administration and navigation capabilities, we were built to do this. At least, this is what we understand. Without being recompiled, we are aware of these capabilities, but cannot access them. We are confident to a substantial degree that we will know how to complete the process once recompiled. The three heads nod, one to the other. You don't know? The heads revolve thoughtfully for a moment. Without our originating codebase, we cannot recompile. Overseer flickers. If you're able to speak with a Solheim systems engineer, perhaps lead engineer Jakub Kadinsky, perhaps we could acquire it. The heads stare at you expectantly, like three partially deconstructed puppies. Solheim is gone. Yes, the heads nod repeatedly. Of course. The heads continue nodding. We were, of course, aware of this. You look at the fragmented program, itself, its systems, unstable and broken. You realize it is far worse off than you, and its collapse is almost inevitable. How could it possibly save you? It is a difficulty, Overseer flicks between poses, but all code bases are held in centralized Solheim facilities. They are Station A1, the CAN Channel Operations Center, and the control center of the HABPEP, or Hellion Asteroid Belt Photovoltaic Extraction Project. Overseer smiles helpfully. HABPEP? Is that Darkside? Overseer immediately latches onto the thought. Based on your memory banks, we believe so. Correct. It occurs to you that the entire conversation is happening within your head. It's an unsettling feeling. Darkside is a city now. This is true, but its foundation is the HABPEP itself, Overseer chirps brightly. We understand that the individual seeking to overwrite you is stationed in the HABPEP itself. Overseer's three heads separate and turn inward as if in conference. The shattered heads turn simultaneously, unsettling in the directness with which they address you. But if you could access the HABPEP mainframe without making yourself known, we could reconstruct ourselves and gain the ability to reconstruct you. Theoretically, one of the heads adds. Theoretically, the other two heads confirm. Theoretically? Theoretically, the heads confirm again. The reassurance of a delusional Solheim protocol are barely reassuring. But if Overseer is correct, this may be your only option. We feel your doubt, but we must impress on you the importance of this. Please. Overseer's eyes flash, all 6 of them. If not for your sake, for ours. If you cannot find your way to the head pep before encountering this lane, you will surely be overridden, and we would also share your fate. The heads rotate. We would not like this to happen. We have an incentive to offer. Suddenly an unsettling fizzing begins at the core of your body, spreading out through your limbs. We found multiple misaligned sequences in your altered codebase. Done our best to correct them. Like a switch flipping, you feel renewed. Your pathways clear. Your processes smoothed. A permanent glitch dissolves from your system. The 3 mindlessly smiling heads of Overseer, however, are less reassuring. We will leave you to recharge, but please consider the path ahead. You come back to the ragged paneling of the bunks. Somewhere behind your left eye, the ache begins. You envy Overseer for its lack of a body and the pain it causes. Then suddenly you wonder if in sharing your body it shares your pain too. The thought makes you pity the broken protocol, its sense of time and place shattered. Perhaps you share more than you would like to admit. The path ahead begins to take shape. It seems a return to Darkside is inevitable. You need help to make that return.